Welcome to Raleigh and the start of our ACC Network triple header. NC State is sizzling, off to its best start to this point since the Herb Sendek days. And we drop you right into the Wolfpack, squaring off at home against Georgia Tech. Huge day in the ACC. You know about Duke and Carolina coming up tonight. There is also a top 25 showdown right here on ACCN coming up later with Miami and Clemson, who still leads the league. And then there's the Pack, tied for fourth in the ACC. As we say hello and welcome to Raleigh. Thanks for joining us. Randolph Childress, Mike Monaco with you. And Randolph, let's talk about NC State because they've got a big three forming right now, and opposing coaches have to pick their poison.
They do. Everyone in the country knows about this backcourt. It's always talked about. But it's the presence of the big guy inside, DJ Burns. His ability to score when they're not making jump shots has just elevated this team. This team lost its starting 4 and 5 man to start the season. He's just come in, elevated his play, playing great basketball, and the reason this team is sitting top 4 and on the verge of making the NCAA tournament if they can just close the season out strong. And
perhaps on the verge of the top 25 as well. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech 1-11 in the ACC. Last in the conference after the loss to Louisville on Wednesday, and Josh Pastner has been talking about the need to make shots. Now, he always talks about guard play as well, and he gets a couple of guys back today. Lance Terry missed the last 4 with a hamstring injury. He's back, he's starting, and Davon Smith didn't play on Wednesday with an ankle injury. He's available to come off the bench in this one, and he's been a double-double threat.
Yeah, he's getting his playmakers back. He's getting guys in Smith that can make plays. He's getting Terry back, who's a 34% three-point shooter. We talked about making shots. Those guys will need to step up and make shots today.
Off we go. The start of a loaded day in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Georgia Tech on the road in the Grays. They control it with Kyle Sturdivant, who had 17 in that loss against Louisville on Wednesday.
You can see the game plan right away. First possession was to attack Burns. They know how important he is. Keep an eye on that. DJ Burns has a tendency to bring his hands down when he walls up. That time he got a deflection and created a turnover.
And Georgia Tech is going to shift defenses, and they force an NC State turnover. Casey Morsell out of bounds on the sideline. Josh Pastner's group, led by Miles Kelly, the leading scorer at 13 points per game. We told you Sturdivant, he scored it well on Wednesday. And Javon Franklin, 4 in gray, he had a very good game in that loss as well.
He did, and even Miles Kelly starting to come out of that shooting slump. He had 16 against Louisville. They're going to need guys to make shots again. That's the Achilles heel for this team, perimeter shooting and just making plays.
Sturdivant, shoot Joyner, and missed in the mid-range, and Burns gets the rebound down to Gant as you check out the NC State starters. How's Josh Pastner going to deal with that big three?
They're going to change defense. Josh Pastner's known the triangle and 2, the matchup zone, the 2-3 zone, the 1-3-1, man-to-man. They're going to change up everything and just try to give this team fits and just slow them down.
Listen to the crowd when DJ Burns gets a touch. They love this guy.
Hey, in my opinion, he's the unofficial mayor of Raleigh. Yeah, no offense to Mary Ann Baldwin. If she goes to re-election, that might be who she's running against. We are looking at the unofficial mayor right there.
We will have more on that coming up later in this first half. His personality, his dance moves, electric.
Where's my shades? I'm emulating. I can get my shades on.
Please.
I feel better calling the game with my shades.
Shot clock winding down on Terquavion Smith, who connects the ACC's top scorer.
You just can't defend that. I mean, his range is unlimited. When he's making those kind of shots, you just tip your hat to him and just wish him luck. There's nothing you can do against that.
And that's what Josh Pastner said to his pregame. Yeah, Burns could get 20, but we're really concerned about those guards. And if Smith is making shots like that, it's going to be a long day for Georgia Tech.
They both are elite at creating shots. And that's what it was. Just a guy that has unlimited range, can shoot it from the parking lot, and you don't want to see the first one go in like that.
Evan Keats is heated. He is figuring out which sub to put into the game right now as Georgia Tech had a backdoor cut that frustrated the NC State head coach.
That's a scouting report mistake. You can tell he's upset with that because you have to keep everything in front. They run this Princeton-style offense, so they're going to cut and backdoor cut. Keats just sending a message early to his team. You got to come out and establish ourselves on a defensive end early. You can't let this Georgia Tech team get going early.
Yanked Casey Morsell. He's got this group at 18-5 overall. Winners of 7 of their last 8. They demolished Florida State on Wednesday. Late shot clock for Kelly, who gives it up. Sturdivant the grenade. Got a shot clock violation.
Outstanding defensive execution there. Even in the bigs, denying that. When they're playing against a Princeton style, they want to catch it low as possible. DJ Burns gets up, he denies it. Guards are getting through handoffs. Just an outstanding defensive possession there by the North Carolina State Wolfpack.
Lead 5-0, 3 minutes into this one.
They're attacking this zone against this particular matchup zone. They're susceptible in the corners.
Gant out of the corner, finds Smith. Wiggles by Kelly and throws up a wild shot. And a strip by NC State. Looked like Gant got his hand on it. Jarkel Joyner off the bounce. Burns the offensive rebound. Coleman kept it alive to Franklin, finally able to secure it. Terry in transition. Stayed patient for 2.
That's where Georgia Tech has to get better at. Rebound, push. They struggle in the half-court offense right now. So if they can rebound and get out and get some transition baskets, it'll be great for these guys. They need to get easy buckets. They don't want to sit here and go against half-court. Force some turnovers like that will be great.
Kelly off the pick.
Just carelessness with the basketball there. You know, that's what the 1-3-1 does. They want you to air mail those kind of passes and throw it up. Give them time to rotate over. Franklin does a great job of getting his hands on that one.
Then a hand check foul up top on Miles Kelly. Well, the ballot might have a new name for mayor, like you said. More on DJ Burns when we come back to Raleigh. Kevin Keats says that DJ Burns could tell everyone to show up somewhere on campus or around Raleigh, and he thinks the entire student body would show up, because who is having more fun than the big fella?
Besides us, I don't know anybody.
You saw that first note, the shades he had on earlier. What do you think?
I think we look better than he does. I think we do. But he wears them well. I mean, everybody loves him on campus. He just has a magnetic personality. Everybody wants to be around him. And hey.
Yeah, he told us yesterday that the origin story on the sunglasses was, of course, from the Duke game. Christian Reeves, big guy for Duke, poked him in the eye. And so DJ just went to a CVS, bought some cheap shades, rocking them, and they have made their way around the NC State locker room.
Well, that tells me he's superstitious, because he started playing well. And as he's playing well and everybody starts noticing it, you know what? And just a credit to him. He's just such a great personality, playing good basketball.
They had the giveaway with the shades, of course, last month here at PNC. And he's a guy who's playing so well right now. His best basketball of the season. A week ago, Saturday in Winston-Salem, went for 31, a career high. 23 in the second half in a very big road win, and then he followed it up with another good game against Florida State Wednesday.
Playing with a lot of confidence. I think the best thing that he's done so far is he's adapted to playing on both sides of the block. He used to be a guy that lined up on the other side, and as you see there, his ability to pass, I think he's the best passing big man in the ACC and one of the better passing big men in the country. He's a gifted passer.
And that's why it's so hard to double team him, right?
You know, against Wake Forest, I think there's a lot of crowd, and everybody was wondering, you should double him. He is not just a passer of the basketball. He passes to the right guy to score. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous as a passer.
Great offensive rebound and stick back from Javon Franklin, the 6th-year senior South Alabama transfer, coming off a very active game Wednesday against Louisville, like we said. And Josh Pastner had a lot of praise for him post-game on Wednesday.
He's 6'7", but he plays like he's 6'9", 6'10". Averages nearly 3 offensive rebounds a game, so that's something that he does a tremendous job of.
Kyle Sturdivant from straight on drills a 3, and Georgia Tech powers in front by 2.
The great sign for them. They've gotten baskets in transition, and they're making jump shots. And again, they're mixing up the defensive coverages. They're active. They got a full complement of roster here, so this team is not going away. They'll play a little better than you expect from a 1-11 ACC team.
Off the LJ Thomas miss, into the game off the pack bench. Miles Kelly, by the way, top scorer for Georgia Tech. He's still out there with his 2 fouls he picked up early. And Franklin from Sturdivant And Georgia Tech adds on.
I think the matchup you got to watch, we're talking about Burns, but they're going to put Burns in ball screens, and they're going to attack him. And watch where they catch the ball when they're able to get in their Princeton offense. And when they can't, they're going to put him in ball screens and rotate. That time you saw Franklin catch a lob. Rotation was late. Just a strong finish there.
Gantz on the lob from Smith.
You want to do a really good job defending NC State, so you want to keep them in half court. You don't want them to continue to score so they can set up their full court pressure.
Start of it. Confident.
Great quick release there. Sturdivant hit the last 2 jump shots there. Great sign. Coming off 17 points against Louisville right now. He's an experienced guard. He's accustomed to coming off the bench and starting.
Burns goes to the spin on Franklin for 2.
Just get to that middle and turn it over that. He gets to that right shoulder and shooting that lefty hook. It's a difficult shot to get around and get in front of him. And he's just so much bigger than Javon Franklin. I think he'll be able to get that shot whenever he wants.
It was one-on-one coverage. He's got 61 pounds on Javon Franklin.
That's all?
Not much. Kelly in the mid-range.
But they're going to pick on him on this other end. At some point, when you have a big like that with Burns, he has to be dominant and effective, I should say, on the offensive end because they're attacking him right now. He's the game plan. Every time down the floor, Georgia Tech is going to look to put him in ball screens to get a jump shot or a dump into one of the guards. That's a big one.
Smith off the offensive rebound, misses another. And Sturdivant goes crashing in to run it down and draw a foul on L.J. Thomas. So for Josh Pastner so far, this has gone about as well as you could hope because he has lamented the struggle scoring really all ACC season. And he has said they need to score in transition. They've done a little bit of that. They got to have second chance points. They've done some of that as well.
Well, they're hitting mid-range shots. They've hit 2 threes. So again, they're 7 of 11 right now for a team that struggled to score. This team has defended. You know, their problem is when you're so ineffective of scoring in basketball, you just wear down and you lose energy. And right now, they got everything going. They're hitting mid-range shots. They're getting in the paint. They're getting threes.
And now Kelly hits a 3. And Kevin Keats needs a timeout. Heck of a start on the road for Georgia Tech, up by 8. Georgia Tech is on a 15-4 run, and Josh Pastner has said, look, it's been our Achilles heel being able to score this year. Well, no problem so far for the Jackets.
I mean, they're stepping into it. They're making shots. They're playing relaxed. I mean, when you come in and you're looking at their record, you just think this team is getting healthy. They have their full complement of players, and they're just coming out there confident. And the last thing you want to see if you're a State fan is a team that has shot it poorly come out and hit shots like Georgia Tech has so far this first half.
You see what Georgia Tech has done, making its last 6 shots and 7 of its last 8. A game after they shot a season-low 30% from the floor against Louisville. Made 7 threes in the first half, then went 0 for 11 from 3 in the second half in that loss to the Cards.
Well, the most important thing is there's 7 of their 19 points is transition points. You know, for a team that's struggling, the last thing you want to do is give them confidence early. You saw Keats go to his bench early and really animated and getting on his team because he senses they're not ready to play. They're not dialed into the scouting report. And that's something that happens when you're playing really well and the team comes in struggling, losing 8 straight. You think it's going to be an easy cakewalk. Anything but that. You got to come and you got to earn it. And so far, Wolfpack has struggled out of the gate.
Shot clock below 10 for Burns. Backing down from the three-point line on Kyle Sturdivant and scoring over the top.
He's just so patient. He gets it. They have no problem giving him the ball 15, 17 feet from the basket. We call it using the old Charles Barkley move, just playing bully ball, dribbling you down to the paint where he feels comfortable and scoring like that.
That's the Barkley, just bully ball?
Just getting it and just putting you on your hip. Just like the round mound of rebound. We just get you, put you on his hip, and just dribble on. You can't get around him. You can't stop him from getting to his spots, and he just gets to his spot and elevates shit over. He can do that over anybody in the country.
Kevin Keats told us yesterday at NC State's practice, I get frustrated when a big guy takes 3 dribbles on a back down. And Burns is getting like dribbles as Casey Morsell 6 of 3.
But college coaches know he's an unbelievable passer. So if you're playing against these guys, you wonder why your coach just lets him, because that, and you don't want their backcourt, and we just saw there giving up a 3. You don't want Casey Morsell or Taquavian Smith or Jaquel Joyner getting 3-point looks.
Terry with a chance at a 3-point play. Welcome back, Lance Terry.
They've missed him so much. I mean, he's a heck of a shooter. Now he's getting the ball, turning the corner, putting Ross on his hip. You see guards playing below the rim. They cut the angle off and shot the reverse layup. Ross could do nothing but foul.
Gardner-Webb transfer, who last played 2.5 weeks ago against NC State in the first meeting, which was a 12-point Wolfpack win in Atlanta. And Terry is back.
That game was a very competitive game in the first half. State pulled away late in the second half, but that was a very close game, and we're seeing why so far in the first half of this one.
First game, Josh Pastner loved that they took care of the ball. Only 10 turnovers, especially the way the Wolfpack forces teams into turnovers, but Georgia Tech just 2 for 21 from 3. Burns scores again.
They have no answer for Burns inside, but State's at its best when they can get up and down and they can turn you over right now. They got to get back to defending this side, on this end of the floor.
They tried to put DJ Burns in another ball screen, and the foul's on Casey Morsell. That's his first.
Difficult call. I thought he was just being physical and guarding the basketball, and you know, you put so much pressure on your guards when they play in drop coverage, and what I mean is Burns' job is to stay between the ball and the basket. Guard's job is to be physical, get into the ball, get through the screen, and Casey Morsell's pleading his case to the official like, that's what I'm coached to do.
Josh Pastner goes deeper into the bench here. Jalen Moore comes into the game, and Jordan Becca enters in the front court, probably to bang with Burns, who grabbed that rebound.
But they need as much size as they can possibly have, and Burns is really hurting them right now, getting that ball right there and just spinning.
On a guard, and Sturdivant, and he's got 10 points early on.
Where's my shades? I need my shades back on to watch him. I need to.
He's on pace for 40.
Hey, putting on a clinic right now.
How's the vision for you? Kelly had it blocked by Morsell, who's blocked a lot of shots over the last 3 games.
Casey Morsell is one of the elite defenders in his league and just so underappreciated in his style of play, but he's the ultimate 3-and-D guy in the ACC.
Good rebound by Jordan Mecca. Sturdivant pulls up. Oh, he is feeling good. Third 3 for Kyle Sturdivant.
He is in a groove right now. Again, he's played well last game, following it up with a strong first half so far. He is feeling it from behind the arc.
Senior from Norcross, Georgia. Burns can hit that as well. How do you defend him?
Heat check. You can't deny it. He's got 12 quick ones here. Now he's pulling up. He's got to the basket. They backed off. Now he's knocking down a shot. He has that in his game. But right now, he's got to pick his job, pick it up on the defensive end as well. This Georgia Tech team is getting whatever they want.
And leads by 3. Tristan Maxwell carved to the bucket. Got his own miss. Lost his footing. Gant goes diving. The Pack has it. The lob. Too tall for Jarkel Joyner.
See, when you're playing against Georgia Tech and teams want to deny that high post right there, this is the counter to it. They just step up and run into a ball screen. And so when you play on top, now you can't help on the ball screen and the guards are getting to the rim. Just a great adjustment by Georgia Tech and something to watch as they continue to try to deny that high post.
Because they run a Princeton-style offense, so it's typically post players at the elbow passing from there and hurting you.
Well, getting it so deep, catching at the elbow, catching the free throw line, they want to be able to catch it as low as possible. Every team wants to push it, deny it, pressure him, get the ball up as high as possible. Georgia Tech now is countering that by setting a ball screen if you're denying it.
Big block from Greg Gant. Tech by 3, coming up on 8 to go first half. And a carry is called on Jalen Moore.
I think the concern for Coach Keats is that Georgia Tech is really getting whatever shot they want. They're not making them miss right now. When Georgia Tech just misses a shot, it's just because they're open. They're getting in the paint, they're getting in the rim, they're making jump shots. Georgia Tech is NC State's going to have to take something away from them. And they're changing defenses now. They're trapping out of this 1-3-1. And keeping the Wolfpack off balance.
With Burns on the bench, E.B. Dewana into the game, 21 in the cream-colored alternate unis. Joyner lost the handle and started into the loose ball, diving on the deck, and Josh Pastner will take a timeout. Georgia Tech's got the 3-point lead on NC State on the road here in Raleigh. DJ Burns has 12, the rest of his team has 10.
He is having his way. I mean, there's really nothing that Georgia Tech has shown so far to be able to stop him. He's gotten the ball wherever he's wanted. He's just such a difficult guard because he's not. And when he starts knocking down a 15 to 17-foot jump shot, then look out. You know, and this is why the NC State is as good as they are right now. They're not shooting the ball well from the perimeter, but then he's the guy that's been able to score effectively inside to give them time until the jump shots fall. That's why they're only down 3 and giving the perimeter guys time. The backcourt is too talented. They'll eventually get it going. But he's just been able to be a great stopgap because they continue to, this is what they're good at. Picking up the full court pressure.
10-second count.
So called a foul. I think they called 10 seconds before the foul.
Let's see, Mark Schnurr steps in. Jamel Spearman had also been considering a foul. And it is a 10-second count. And now Josh Pastner is pleading his case and has to watch his footing.
When the whistle blew, one called 10 seconds and one called a foul. I think they'll.
And they're going to call a foul now after conferring.
Yes. Yeah. Well, wasn't quite yet. The foul was called before 10 seconds, so they, you know, now that they call timeout, they get a new fresh 10 to get it across. But there's a little bit of confusion there on the call. But again, they called foul. They ended up siding with the foul prior to the second call. Yes.
And after all that, it's picked off by Breon Pass. Terquavion Smith can't hit. Battle on the board secured by Mecca.
Those are the kind of shots that I know Terquavion's been working on. He has unlimited range, but you could have shot near the line. Great block there.
Wow, how did Ernest Ross get that on Debo Coleman? Smith off the shot fake to Ross. Finishes through the contact.
Ross is bringing a lot of energy on both ends of the floor. Great job. He gets rewarded there on the assist from Terquavion Smith. But the play he made on the block shot the other end, comes down, run the floor, gets himself in a position to score, benefits from the unselfishness of T. Smith. Has a chance to go to the line and one.
This is a guy, Ernest Ross, who not only is bringing energy, he is so confident that after the win over Miami earlier this year, he said in the locker room, "We gonna win that natty too." Just watch.
Well, if Dirk Wittenberg was here and that crew of guys, you know, the 83 team, that's the kind of confidence they had, knowing that backcourt that led that team to a national championship. So it starts with confidence, whether you don't need everybody else to believe, but as long as you believe.
Tied at 25, Georgia Tech has to be careful with turnovers. They've got 7 of them so far. Josh Pastner said to his pregame they can't be live ball turnovers, and a lot of them have been, and now they are forced into a timeout. We'll take it with them. Back to Raleigh in 30 seconds. Tuesday, big doubleheader right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Pitt, Louisville, 7 Eastern, then off to Charlottesville for the Pack against number 6 Virginia, who right now in Blacksburg trails late in that second half against Virginia Tech, who really needs a win.
Yeah, that's a must-win game for Virginia Tech at home.
See some of the upcoming games today. We told you at the top, it is a loaded day in the conference. Top 25 showdown will follow our game here. Miami at Littlejohn against Clemson, and they're trying to bounce back.
I think it's a lot of great games in the ACC. That Miami-Clemson game, that Syracuse-BC game is going to be a good one.
Javon Franklin draws a foul.
And now that they've gotten so many options off of their that pinch poach catch there at the free throw line. That time he just kept it, faked the handoff, and dribbled and drove the basketball. So,
what do you like around the ACC today? We got big games. We just showed them to you. Miami, Clemson, who you saw this week. Yeah. Boston College, big time win for Earl Grant's group.
Great win by them. Those guys. It's amazing to watch the teams now. Teams are starting to get healthy. Like even this Georgia Tech team. You know, we talked about it. Terry's been out 4 games. Davon Smith missed the last game. So, you know, teams that are getting help. This NC State team does not have their starting 4 and 5 man, and with Jack Clark and Dushan Murchik, he's been out. So let's just see who gets healthy and continues to, you know, finish the season strong. I mean, these games now, road games are already tough, but every game matters as you close your resume trying to get to the NCAA tournament.
And Georgia Tech has a 1-point lead after Javon Franklin splits at the stripe.
Watch for Burns right there catching the ball, corner threes.
Hasn't had a touch yet. Smith moves it. Morcell rises. Short. Rebound start of it.
That's the way you're going to attack it. You're going to attack it in the middle with Burns with corner threes like that. You're just going to get shots. You just got to make it.
Terry connects. Lance Terry's got 8.
Franklin's doing a heck of a job of rim running and has forced a guard to take him in transition. And they weren't able to match up and end up giving up a 3-point shot there.
Burns fires one underneath. Terry might have got a piece of that against Ross.
It's a great pass, great find.
Oh, what a follow by Ernest Ross.
His energy's been infectious so far this half. He's come off the bench, giving his team energy on both ends of the floor. They're going to need more of that again, but right now the game is being played at a pace that Georgia Tech likes.
Franklin, quick step on Burns. Kelly, too strong. Smith fires one in. Good defense from Franklin. A 5th NC State turnover. Sturdivant skips. Debo Coleman thought about it. Now back to Kelly.
They're going to put Burns in a lot of ball screens.
NC State handled that one well. Terry shut off on a baseline drive, matched up with Morcell. With the shot clock winding down, and Casey Morcell is out of bounds along the sideline. So it stays with Georgia Tech with 3.2 to shoot.
Ernest Ross just comes in from the free throw line, no box out, just skies in and won't get an easier 2 than that right there. Strong finish by Ross, who's been outstanding on both ends of the floor. He's given his team so much energy. More importantly, he's come in and changed the tone for the Wolfpack on the defensive end of the floor.
3 seconds off this inbound for Terry. Couldn't hit.
Terry needs to draw the foul. He got Tarquavian in the air there instead of taking an off-balance shot. Just take the 3 with the foul.
Well defended.
Great defense there. They have the matchup there. If Smith wants it. He's just checked in, but he got Burns on him. I think he'll look for him to attack.
Really tough shot for Davon Smith.
You'd love to get to the rim, but Burns moves his feet. He's like a dancing bear, man. He got great feet, and he moves a lot better than people give him credit for. And again, heck of a job by him on the defensive end against one of the more quicker athletic guards in the league.
Good battle on the boards by Debo Coleman off the Smith miss. He's now 1 of 6 from the floor. Approaching 4 minutes to go in this second half. It's Georgia Tech by 2. Franklin down the lane.
On your head, Ross. I mean, just a great catch there by Franklin. Javon Franklin catching it, filling Burns, trying to overplay, spins off him, drives it down the lane, and it's because NC State's trying to deny that pass, and so again, they're so aggressive in it.
Morcell met by Terry. Oh, smooth looking shot from Casey Morcell.
Yeah, he's as good as there is at a 3-and-D. Great on-ball defender. Shooting over 43% from behind the arc and very capable of putting it down 1 or 2 dribbles and pulling it up himself.
How about Javon Franklin? He's got 9 points now to go along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists as well, building off what he did Wednesday.
Hey, he's just letting Burns know whatever you do, I can do also. Taking that mid-range jump shot there, catching it, driving it.
Ross, goaltending on Franklin.
Franklin's coming in there, catching this ball in the mid-post, just spinning off, going down there, taking no disrespect for anybody. He's not playing like a 1-11 team. He doesn't care about the records. He's coming to win.
Here during Black History Month, NC State wearing its Honoring Black Excellence jerseys, part of an Adidas initiative celebrating the achievements of black individuals and black culture as a whole. Some really neat-looking uniforms for NC State, and Georgia Tech not wearing its Honoring Black Excellence uniforms in this one, but theirs are very sharp as well.
I wonder if we can start getting some uniforms, man. Even if it's, we split. One wear home, one wear away. Like, some of these jerseys are nice, man. Get our own number on them. You can wear them in your league when you're playing.
You're feeling creative, man.
I'm just, I got a good night's sleep last night, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the brisket from what did I go, Long Leaf Swine last
yes.
night? Yes,
that's exactly where.
Yeah. It was good last night. Highly recommend it. I'd go if you're here in Raleigh.
You did not get up any jump shots yesterday here at NC State practice, though.
I did not. I think my jump shot's pretty good. I don't need to. If one of us needed to work on it, one of us didn't.
Good take from Lance Terry. He continues to have a great return after missing 4 games with a hamstring injury. And it's the Jackets up by 4 with 2.5 to go in this half. Jarkel Joyner is still scoreless, and between him and Terquavion Smith, just 3 points on the made 3 from Smith early on.
They've got good looks for them. I mean, they're tough, difficult shot takers, but they're tough, difficult shot makers. And right now, they're just not making shots. This is why you see Burns and why he's so effective, just finding him and getting to his spots.
Like that.
Like that. That's why I got my shades on for him. I mean, it's DJ Burns party all day long record. He's unguardable for these guys. But this is what he's meant to this Wolfpack team. When they're struggling and making shots and they're not forcing turnovers, he's been the reason why they've been so consistently good recently, because, again, he can keep things going until the other two get to going.
And, again, Josh Pastner is okay with this. He said to us today, we think we can win even if Burns is going to go off for 20-plus. Well, Georgia Tech turns it over here. He just didn't want Smith and Joyner and Morcell to have big games.
They're just too explosive from behind the line. And when those guys get it going, because, again, they take shots against good defense and they make them. There's nothing you can do. When this group is making jump shots, that's it. You can't guard them. Chalk it up, game's over.
Ross.
Yeah, Ross gets into the act. That's only his 3rd 3 of the season. He was 2 of 14 coming in, shooting 14%. But again, when you're in these kind of games and you come in with the right attitude, off the bench, creating on the defensive end, it amazes how things go for you on the offensive end.
Ernest Ross has 10 points in 8 minutes off the bench, a guy who averages 3.5 per. Started and drops it in for Franklin, and it swirls out.
Good possession there by Georgia Tech. You got it deep. Just wasn't able to convert the shot. But
Ross is undercut and fouled.
Hard fall there. He fell on his elbow. Let's hope he's all right. Great thing about being young, get the bounce up. This is the key to this game. Against this zone, they're vulnerable in the corners for threes, and the guards hadn't made it, so Ross said, you know what, get out of the way. I'll step up. I'll knock it down. What a half for this young man.
Told you 10 points for Ernest Ross. Remember, he was huge in that overtime win against Miami off the bench earlier this season. 17 points and 9 rebounds. He's a 52% free throw shooter.
What's been so effective for him is just he hadn't been able to get going in early games.
Thursday night women's basketball doubleheader. Olivia Miles leads the number 9 Fighting Irish against Pitt at 6 Eastern. And then number 15 NC State against Wake Forest right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
See if the Lady Deeks can bounce back and get him on at home. But Ross has just been outstanding, and he's coming in bringing so much activity. See, now when NC State scores, they're able to establish their full court pressure, but you see the counter there. Burns is not going to come up, so not many teams has a center that they can use to initiate offense the way Georgia Tech has.
Franklin defended by Burns. Dribble handoff for Sturdivant around the curl. In and out. And Burns secures the rebound. And NC State can hold for the final shot of the half, leading by 3.
You look at the score, and we're having a great game here. Georgia Tech has played extremely well, extremely hard. Had a foul to give there against NC State, but let's, credit to these guys. It feels like NC State's controlling the pace. They have a game plan. They're executing that. They're just going to have to continue to find ways to score and keep pace with the #1 offense in the ACC. And right now, Georgia Tech and NC State is just pushing pace right now, trying to keep this game up into the 80s, which is their average of scoring.
Kevin Keats told his team at the end of practice yesterday, first meeting with Georgia Tech, we didn't play our best game. He told us that he thought Georgia Tech outplayed them in the first half. And in this first half, tight as well. Smith skips, Morcell jacks, hits, ahead of the horn.
Jason Morcell said, don't forget about me in that big 3. We might have a big 4 instead of a big 3. Knocking out that 3, putting Wolfpack up 6. Just a great look. I mean, just a great find. Catches it in rhythm. Knocks it down. He's shooting as well as anybody. Like I said, the ultimate competitor on the defensive end. Knocking down a 3, shooting 43% of the year, showing you why there.
NC State closes this first half on a 10-0 run and leads by 6 on Georgia Tech here from PNC Arena. Let's get you to the studio with Joel Berry, Carlos Boozer, and Luke Hancock. Here's the point guard, Kelsey Riggs.
Hey, guys.
What's up, you guys? We've enjoyed the first half as we welcome you into the ACC Network Halftime Report alongside 3 former national champs. We've got Joel Berry, Carlos Boozer, Luke Hancock. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. And NC State able to close things out on a 10-0 run. So it's a 41-35 game for NC State in the lead at the break, Booze. I know you like to talk about our guy DJ because he's going off again. What do you like about what he's done?
DJ is working. He's been rolling this season, gotten better and better and better. That game that we did where he pretty much had to be the offense and the catalyst when Terquavion Smith got in foul trouble. He's built on that. Even right now, they're dominating points in the paint, 24-16. They got 12 points off the bench to Georgia Tech's none. They've taken over the second half of the first half of this game, and then you expect that Terquavion's going to have a huge second half because he's been kind of quiet in the first half.
Yeah, and I think the problem with NC State here in the first half is their two top guards, Jarkel Joyner, Terquavion Smith. Only 3 points combined, 1 for 9 from the field. Those guys have to get going. Terquavion is first in the league in scoring. Jarkel Joyner is 5th in the league in scoring. They do a lot of production for this team. They have to get going in the second half.
Joel Berry, that's all right. That's all right because we got Casey Morcell and we got Ernest Ross that are out there balling. I love this NC State team. Like you mentioned, DJ Burns has been an absolute bucket on the block. It's kind of pick your poison with him. He can get down there and get over that right shoulder, little left hand. He's got incredible touch, hitting mid-range jump shots, and then the thing that I think takes it to another level, passing the rock. He is a great, underrated passer.
Burns and Ross have 26 of NC State's 41 points in the first half. Got to give Georgia Tech a lot of credit for the way they started. We'll see if they're able to close the gap in the second half. From you, I don't know if that's Carolina blue that you're wearing or not, Joel. I'm going to let that slide. And NC State definitely let that one slide. Big move there from Georgia Tech, and they are down 6 at the break, though.
Skywalker.
Second half action on the way in Raleigh as we welcome you back to PNC Arena. NC State up by 6 on Georgia Tech. Alongside Randolph Childers, Mike Monica with you, and what a boost Ernest Ross provided the pack.
What a lift. I mean, he's done it on the offensive end, and uncharacteristically, he's knocking down threes. I mean, just finishing around the rim here, getting the and one, making shots, but his impact on the defensive end has just been equally as effective. Lance Terry for Georgia Tech, I mean, they sorely missed him missed 4 games with a hamstring. He is well to make it up for it tonight. Getting to the rim with the reverse layup and one there, knocking down jump shots. He's been very effective so far this half. They need to look to get him more involved in the second half.
Georgia Tech led for the majority of that first half, but NC State closed on a 10-0 run into halftime, and that was big for the Pack. Morcell knocked down the 3 before the horn.
Well, their defensive pressure picked up, and they're starting to defend this pinch post action and then the ball screen action a little bit better. And then more importantly, they're scoring. When NC State scores, they're able to establish their full court pressure with what they want to do.
Just 3 points for the ACC's top scorer, Terquavion Smith. Jarkel Joyner, who's 5th in the league in scoring, he was scoreless. Yet, NC State leads by 6 as we open up the second half.
See the cat and mouse game there. They got Debo Coleman on Ross, and he's able to beat an extra help defender. They got to provide help. It's just going to be too easy.
Debo Coleman tried to block out Ernest Ross, but it's Coleman who gets whistled for the foul.
They're committed to just, hey, Franklin's going to guard him one-on-one. We talked about it. They got enough bodies. I'm surprised to see, you know, he doesn't have any help. Rodney Howard's hasn't played a minute the first half, and he's a healthy scratch right now, and he's big enough from a physicality standpoint to guard.
Joyner, the dump block for Barnes.
On cue, he's on cue to guard Barnes, and there he is again.
Yeah, you saw that look at Rodney Howard on the Georgia Tech bench. We got word at halftime that there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
He's available to play. 6'11" senior, 256 pounds, averages 20 minutes a game. Played 16 minutes on Wednesday against Louisville and just hasn't played in the first half.
Now, I will say, Franklin does a really good job. He's a better passer from that high post position, so that's a great thing about having him now. He gives up some size here, but again, the scouting reporters are okay giving that up. He's missed his last 2. They're okay with giving DJ Burns that.
He's got 16, despite those misses. Kyle Sturdivant had a great first half for Georgia Tech, and he gets the roll. He's got a team-high 11.
Just such an experienced guy. He's playing so well right now for the Georgia Tech team, and he's been living in the paint, just getting there off the dribble. They hadn't been able to contain him, and then tonight he's knocking down 3-point jump shots as well.
Morcell got some space, hits.
You don't want to leave that guy open there. Again, against this Georgia Tech zone, we've said it a million times, the corner threes are where they're vulnerable, and obviously NC State knows that, and Casey Morcell wants to score, so he knows to get there.
5th 3 for the Pack. It feels like 4 of them maybe have come from those corners. And Franklin an answer.
Franklin just said, hey, doesn't care. He called bait.
11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and his hands full with this guy.
Well, credit to the NC State team. I mean, he missed his last 2. How many teams would allow a guy to miss 2 and then go right back at him for his third shot?
Franklin goes right at him and couldn't score. And then we've got a held ball, and the arrow will keep it at this end of the floor with the Jackets.
They're making Franklin bring it up, and they're allowing. I don't know if you want to get into it. The pace is picking up. Georgia Tech is playing well on the offensive end, but they're playing at a much faster pace. That's what pressure does to you. You just put your head down and you drive, but you'd like to see them execute a little bit better on offense and just slow this pace down.
Kelly spinning by Ross and scoring with the left hand.
I just think he's such a talented young man and has so much more to give on the offensive end. He's their leading scorer, and for them to pull an upset off here, I think Miles Kelly has to get going.
Kevin Keats told us yesterday at practice that Miles Kelly was the guy who scares him most on this Tech roster.
He does. I mean, because he just has so much size and shot-making ability like this guy does.
In and out for Terquavion Smith, who's 1 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 5 from 3.
Passion is yelling for his group to get into their Princeton offense. And again, if he's going to overplay, they're going to run a ball screen to get in the offense.
Sturdivant had it poked away by Ross. Morcell hits the deck, and it's another held ball. So to NC State this time.
Ross just gets a hand on it and creates the turnover. Like I said, he's been doing. We talked about him scoring, but the defensive end of the floor is where he's ignited the Wolfpack.
NC State at 8-4 in the ACC. They've won 7 of their last 8. Started the day tied for 4th in the conference.
I mean, this team started 1-3 and just was so unsure about where this team was going to go.
Joyner pushes off, and Lance Terry draws the foul on Jarkel Joyner.
I'm like the Wolfpack fan, not a fan of that call. I don't know if he got in front, but yeah, extends that arm a little bit, and that's what gets the call on him.
Josh Pastner told us earlier this season Lance Terry's their best perimeter defender, so he has scored and he comes back and brings that defense as well.
He just knows how to play. Guys like that, you pay attention to the scouting report. If you know Jarkel Joyner, he likes getting to that right hand, and Terry was isolated at the top, and just paid attention to the scouting report.
Coleman pulls up.
Has a lot to give. I'd like to see Debo Coleman do a little bit more of that. He has so much size and physicality. I think he can get to his mid-range jump shot whenever he wants. Has to figure out a way to get himself going in this game.
Look at Burns. Starts outside the three-point line, starts backing down Franklin. Couldn't get it to go, but Ross kept it alive. Blocked by Franklin on the way up. It'll stay with NC State when we come back. And now they flip the call. It'll belong to Georgia Tech when we come back. We promise, unless there's another reversal. So how's this year gone for NC State? Their best overall record and ACC record to this point since 17 years ago, and it started 7-1 in November, the lone loss to Kansas. But ACC play began at 1-3 in league action. Since then, though, a very hot January. This team has won 8 of its last 10 in conference action, and they have a tough schedule the rest of the way down the home stretch in ACC play.
But you can't look too far ahead, but every game at this point in conference play is tough. No different than the one they're in now, but they got 3 straight road games, starting with that, and starting at Virginia, who lost today at Virginia Tech. There's just no gimme wins, and winning on the road is so hard.
Franklin missed it on the lob. Kevin Keats said that for the first time in the brief history of Quad 1, 2, 3, 4, he is talking about that with his team before games. Hey, this is a Quad 4 game. We can't lose this one. Hey, this is a Quad 1. Not as many opportunities as we'd like to grab those types of wins.
That's interesting because you know staffs talk about it. It was just surprising to hear a coach talk to that amongst his players. But it's so true. I mean, for this NC State team, this is like a non-conference game. That's a Quad 4. I mean, it's just crazy to think that you're in conference play and playing in a home game or a road game, and it's Quad 4. It's just something that I don't think many people understand. And honestly, I don't know if anybody understands.
Coaches are frustrated by it, that they don't know the magic sauce necessarily that impacts it up or down, whichever way it goes.
Yeah.
A Tuesday college basketball doubleheader for you right here on ACC and in the app. Pitt, Louisville, 7 Eastern, and then the Pack in one of those big games in Charlottesville against number 6 Virginia, who you just said they lost in Blacksburg, a game that Virginia Tech had to have.
Virginia Tech had to have that game. I mean, they needed that quality of win. And just like they did a year ago, they turned things around in February and made a run to become the ACC champs and punch their ticket to the NCAA, and they're going to need a repeat performance if they want to get back to the NCAAs this year.
Red Gant split at the stripe, and Sturdivant misfires from deep. Franklin tried to keep it alive. Gant blocked by Franklin.
I think he blocked that with his elbow.
He was so high above the basketball at the time he blocked it.
I think he stood in the air, levitated, and waited on him to block that shot.
He is having a ball game. Javon Franklin, the 6th-year senior. Kelly hits, much needed 3-point game.
Poor communication there on the defensive end between the guards at NC State. Both went with the guy at the backdoor cut. Just what the Princeton offense does. If you don't communicate on switches, you teach your guys to talk, touch, and take, and they didn't do that and gave up a 3.
Air ball from Morcell, but Gant kept it alive. Shot clock doesn't reset. Joyner gets it to go. His first points, and he used every part of the rim.
It honestly looked good when it left his hand. As I followed it directly to the rim, I started to yell out earlier, oh, that's good.
3 points for both him and Terquavion Smith.
The great thing is it's not affecting his defense. You see him there, good ball pressure. Surprisingly, Keith said he thinks he may be his best defender. He said Casey Morcell's great, but when Jarkel Jones is locked in, he comes up with steals like that one right there.
Off the pick, he pulls up. No dice. Yeah, he didn't say maybe. He said he is our best defender. I think you and I were both surprised by that.
I think everybody, when you're defending, he starts on the ball. But I think Casey Morcell gives you just more versatility in guarding bigger defenders.
Here he is on Sturdivant. Kelly. No. Run down by Joyner, who's always so fast with the ball in his hands.
This is where Burns helps them so much right there. Getting the ball in his hands right there. Great passer.
Gant got his own miss. Terry strips him. And Kelly threw it away.
Kelly had time there to kind of gather himself and pass to a teammate. It's not the old rule where if you're rolling over, you think it's a turnover like that.
Burns a low pass. Coleman stepped in front, and now Miles Kelly connects.
That's 2 in a row for Miles Kelly and wide open. For a young man that's been in a shooting slump, he's knocking down shots today. And again, Georgia Tech team is not going away.
Third three for Miles Kelly. He's got 15 points. And we've got a 3-point game with under 12 to go in the second half in Raleigh. Georgia Tech led for a majority of the first half, and they're only down by 3 here second half. And remember, this is a team that lost by 43 1 week ago today at home to Duke. And afterward, Debo Coleman called it embarrassing, and Rodney Howard started his post-game comments by apologizing to the fans because he had felt they had a great turnout for the game. But this is a team that hasn't stopped fighting all season long.
No. And that's a credit to Pashner and his staff. I mean, these guys are competing their tails off today. They got 4 guys in double figures led by Miles Kelly at 15. They're at 11 in the turnover, you know, as far as turnovers, and I think they need to stick around that number and not go above 15. Because as you see shots like that for Terquavion Smith, as much as he makes shots, again, he can take some really difficult shots. And Georgia Tech does a great job of just executing their sets right now. They're getting in, they're going to see how they plan to attack. You know, they're going to put DJ Burns here in ball screens.
Sturdivant skips it. Debo Coleman again gets to the mid-range, and you've talked about him playing inside out.
Yes, I think at times we've watched him play so much. He settles for jump shots. He's too big, too physical that he can get to his spots, has a really good mid-range shots, and he has to figure out a way to involve himself more in basketball games instead of settling.
Great defense from Lance Terry on Joyner. Morcell, no. I got a foul on NC State getting back defensively. They tag Casey Morcell with his second.
NC State's starting to get a little jump shot happy here. I would expect Coach Keats and these guys to try to tell the guys, hey, let Burns touch it. You know, he's playing well, he's effective inside. They don't really have a matchup for him. I think the biggest concern with DJ Burns has just been the conditioning of him having to play so many minutes.
The officials will go to the monitor here. And we will have a look ourselves. It looks like Josh Pastner maybe wanted that. And yeah, you see Morcell grabbing Debo Coleman from behind.
Yeah, I mean, I throw a flag. That's pass interference. You get the, you know, the DB running by. You can't grab and put your hands on him, man. It's foul, even in basketball. You know, interesting thing here we're talking about here. We had Bojangles at halftime. That's the first. As many times you've been in North Carolina, that was the first time you had Bojangles?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Am I allowed back?
I'm almost embarrassing to tell you that. It's a flagrant foul. It's intentional. Yeah, I mean, it's an intentional foul.
Yep.
I mean, that's an interesting call as well. I mean, they called that foul, and we watched the call, how it's been called throughout the year. I know fans are always disappointed in how that's called. I mean, the flagrant 2 is when it's really done and deliberate and intentional, but it's the correct call. I mean, you can't grab someone by the waist because you don't run back.
Again, in the men's college game, there's no intentional foul, there's no clear path foul, but effectively, that's what this is, a flagrant 1.
Yes.
And it puts Debo Coleman at the line for 2 free throws and, of course, possession as well.
Gives him 2 shots on the ball, and it's, Keith doesn't like the call, but it is the correct call, and someone with the experience of Casey Marcel. Difficult, he shot that corner 3 and wanted to get back in transition.
Yeah, we certainly agree. This is the definition of flagrant 1, and Casey Marcel gets saddled with that. Coleman splits at the line. Georgia Tech has the ball, and we are tied at 52 midway through the second half.
That outserves the game. Here's another ball screen. They're going to put DJ Burns in the ball screen again.
Burns has been dropping on
Yes,
those.
man, he's playing. His job is to stay between the basketball and the basket on all ball screen coverage.
Kelly attacks Marcel. Got caught in the air, and it's back to the pack.
State team's at its best. They were able to get active with their hands and creating steals, and great job there by forcing a difficult shot and pass there.
All right, at this end for NC State offensively,
Burns.
just one of its last 11, and you say he needs more touches.
He has to touch the ball. They're getting jump shot happy, and when you shoot, they're not a great shooting team. They're just an explosive shooting team, and looks like they're going to go with another perimeter. It's never a bad thing putting the ball in this man's hands.
Smith. Follow-away, he is still cold, and Burns didn't get a touch, and now Georgia Tech runs. Franklin with the hammer!
That's why he needs to touch the basketball, is because he's at a disadvantage in the transition. Javon Franklin knows he can beat him down the floor. He needs to touch the basketball. They're just getting jump shot happy, and that's not a great shot. Taquavian Smith, like as I said before, he takes and makes difficult shots. And that was a one-legged runner, and I think Burns needs to touch the ball instead of just getting the ball. So spread out, he'll find you, and let him go to work.
Here he is, with Georgia Tech leading for the first time this half. Marcel back for Burns. Shot clock winding down. Can't hit. And a block by Franklin on L.J. Thomas, and it'll stay with the Wolfpack.
Franklin just played so big, but he knows, again, his job is be the better athlete, run down the floor. He's giving up size inside, but he's done that several times here today. He's played well on both ends of the floor.
He had 4 steals, 3 blocks Wednesday against Louisville. He's got 2 blocks and a steal in this one to go along with 13, 5, and 4.
Burns needs to duck in here. He's settling, I think, of just being able to dribble the ball outside. He can get it as low as he wants.
The running hook rolls off the rim, and Kelly clears it.
Again, he's going away from the basket. We'd like to see him get something going away. But this is what happens when you're a jump shooting team. You know, you live and die by the jump shot, and this is the way State plays, and they're going to have to continue to play this way until shots go down. But the one thing about this team, they will continue to defend.
Franklin, blocked by Ross.
Great defensive rotation there by Ross. It's a really high-level play game right now. Both teams are playing really well.
Franklin gambled. Burns met at the rim and ripped down by Javon Franklin.
Crowd wanted a foul, just an excellent play.
Boy, this game so far has gone exactly according to plan for Josh Pastner. Burns can get his.
Yes.
Gambled that the guards are not going to have the best shot selection for NC State.
And the dangerous thing right now, if you're an NC State fan, is that there's so much balanced scoring here for Georgia Tech. We got 4 guys already in balanced scoring, and on the offensive end for NC State, it's only Burns and Ross that are playing well.
Georgia Tech's coaching staff cannot believe there wasn't a foul or a deflection on NC State.
Yeah, I think he left his feet playing for the foul, and they didn't call it. If he was driving a score there, I think he would maybe gotten the call.
Yellow Jackets by 2, under 8 to go, second half here in Raleigh. NC State's last field goal came at the 13:33 mark. Terquavion Smith is bumped on the perimeter. We've got 7:47 to go. A good one at PNC Arena. Come on back for the finish. Georgia Tech is on an 8-0 run and leads NC State and Raleigh.
They're running their offense and they're getting open looks. When things break down, as you see there, Debo Coleman drives a closeout pull-up. But this is where they're hurting them in transition. They got 15-0 this game in transition baskets, so they've really been taking advantage of Burns not getting back in defense and then forcing them to get caught in these mismatches. And they're in this game because they're sticking to their game plan, they're executing, and the most important thing is, if you're a Yellow Jacket, they're making shots. And this is something that Pastner hadn't had the ability to depend on all year long.
You said they've got 15 fast break points.
I would have thought that would have been the other way around.
Any.
They have none. It's a 15-0. I mean, and a lot of that is attacking Burns. And sometimes when they get back, it's forcing a guard to match on Javon Franklin. And then Terry has gotten threes and a few times another senseless, careless turnover there. And it's a technical foul on top of that.
Maybe. Mark Schnur did not call the technical. Debo Coleman and Georgia Tech pleading for it after Terquavion Smith got caught in between.
He turned
it over, slammed the ball. I think that's good by the officiating to not tee him up there.
He wasn't showing him up. I think he was upset with himself because he created a careless turnover.
NC State has made one of its last 15 shots. Terry wraps a pass out for Coleman. Driving on Joyner, forces one up and it rolls off. Got his own miss. Franklin kept it alive. Kelly got stripped and it stays with the Jackets at this end.
It's a really good offensive rebound in front line by the Georgia Tech. And like I said, Debo driving in there, and you got to keep a body on Franklin. He's so active, he gets his hands on it. Now the guards are chipping in. The team isn't going anywhere.
Casey Morsell picks up his third foul. He was trying to stick with Lance Terry, who was bouncing around on the baseline underneath for Georgia Tech.
This is part of the game that Georgia Tech needs to be effective as well. Scoring the baseline out of bounds. You know, it's your execution. You don't get it and go right into your half-court Princeton-style offense, which will be put Burns in the ball screen here. If he overplays his post, then make it a ball screen. This time he catches it.
Javon Franklin back out for Terry, who had 10 in the first half. Scoreless in the second, and he turned it over. Smith in transition.
Hello with the left hand. The first fast break basket of the game for NC State. And that's got to make top 10. Wow.
Sturdivant shielding Morsell. Underneath Franklin for two and a foul.
Great response. Getting to his spots off the ball screen again, finding Franklin. Wow. Great job running the floor, found by Casey Morsell in the left hand. Coming in your living room by Casey Morsell, but great response there by Javon Franklin and finishing him with the potential and one.
73% free throw shooter this year. And he makes to stamp a three-point play, and the Jackets lead by 3 with under 6.5 to go.
Now they're back to their 1-3-1. They're changing up defenses now. And again, this is where they're vulnerable at corner threes.
Fouls on Debo Coleman. He was jockeying with the much larger DJ Burns.
Yeah, I think he tried to get around in front a little bit.
14 fouls on each side.
Jarkel Joyner here and Terquavion Smith are only 2 for 14 from the floor right now. They need to take better shots.
Ernest Ross is giving a huge lift for NC State. Smith, no, he is still cold. Is that a shot you like?
Well, it's not that it's a bad shot. He shoots it from so deep. I don't think he needs to be 8 feet behind the line. I know it's something that the staff and Joe Justice was working on him with and reminding him that you don't have to shoot it from the logo every time. And I think if he did get a little close, I think his percentages would be a little bit better. But he's just such an explosive, dynamic player.
Late shot clock for Sturdivant. Kelly, too strong.
Great defensive possession there. Like a possession like this of him Joyner. Attack the rim, and you had numbers 4-on-4 in transition. Defense retreating. Just getting the paint, put pressure on the rim.
Post entry for Burns. DJ Burns with 18 points, going to work on Franklin, who sticks with him. Burns scores anyway with a flex to boot.
Where's my shades? Where's my shades? Get the big man a rock. Let him know he's flexing on him, showing him. Where's my shades?
There they are.
Yeah. DJ Burns. They got to give him the ball, get him to finish more than half. I just don't think there's an answer to him. Javon Franklin there, great defense. He's playing for that right shoulder. That's where his game's improved. He's gotten better on that block. He used to be so dominant, catching the ball on the right post so he can turn middle. Now he's been a better scorer on the left block, and he's turned himself into a heck of a player. I mean, he's a Big South Player of the Year, and as he told us yesterday, he didn't notice the biggest jump into the ACC at all.
No, you asked him. Sturdivant got bumped, no foul. He scores anyway.
Again, transitions the theme. They're trying to push the ball. Team not getting back. No excuse for the NC State guards not getting back off a free throw.
4 in double figures for Georgia Tech. Sturdivant's up to 13. The lead is 3 with 5 to go.
Feeling Georgia Tech has so many, they're attacking so many different ways, and right now it's not, outside of Burns, it's just not a whole lot right now. Going well on the offensive end for NC State.
Franklin got another block, and now trying to go coast to coast, and it rolled off.
His ability to do that is putting so much pressure because now a guard has to match up on him, and Burns has to take a guard.
Joyner, no. Offensive rebound, Morcell, and the putback. Timeout with 4:23 to go. Georgia Tech leads by 1 on the road. Big finish on the way. Tonight, 8:30 Eastern or thereabouts, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day in the ACC, highlights and analysis of all the men's games, and a look ahead to the upcoming week right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. And they will be talking about this one way or another. Georgia Tech's got the lead by 1. Javon Franklin has done everything. He's got 16 points, 7 rebounds. He has matched a career high with 4 assists and matched a career high with those 5 blocks.
He's doing Mr. Do-It-All right now. He's doing everything. I think the most impressive thing he's done is once he's rebounding, he's putting so much pressure on his NC State team in transition, and it's a big reason why they're up 17-2 in transition points, which is the biggest difference in this game.
They got to get it over the timeline. They barely thread a pass, and Kelly lays it in.
Again, Javon Franklin right there, catching the ball, middle of the press, driving it. Not many centers are able to do that. He's undersized. We talked about him playing bigger, but his skill set is giving these guys a tremendous boost right now. He's just Mr. Do-It-All.
NC State has only scored 17 points since halftime. Burns going to work.
I took my shades off. He's going to make me put him back on. He keeps playing like that. I mean, he's just been...
Was it deflected? They say no. It's thrown away by Javon Franklin, and it's a Georgia Tech turnover. Josh Pastner frustrated. 1 point, Jackets lead on the road. Kevin Keats couldn't believe that a game like this in the conference against a team that's already defeated a top 25 opponent in Miami would be a quad 4 game. But that's what the numbers say. And Georgia Tech, though they're 1-11 in the ACC and sitting at the bottom of the conference, they've got a 1-point lead here in Raleigh.
They do. They're healthy. They got a full complemented roster of guys, and they're playing like a team with a renewed confidence. And this Tech team is just doing what they've always done. I mean, just competing and playing hard. And State, again, the guards hadn't played well, but they're gamers, and they just need to finish the game strong, and be interesting to see how the last 3.5 goes.
With Randolph Childress, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Ernest Ross working on the baseline. A cutting Smith, and it's intercepted by Sturdivant. The Jackets run. Sturdivant had to control that pass from Coleman. They reset with 20 to shoot.
NC State's really vulnerable in transition defense right now. And Georgia Tech's really exploited that.
Sturdivant searching. Kelly.
It's hot. It's been hot.
Comes up empty.
Yeah. I think he was too open on that one. He's knocked down some shots today, but he's playing really well. This group is really sharing the ball, and everyone on the floor has had their moments, and I think that's why this team has been so effective.
Why is NC State vulnerable in transition, D?
One, because that's not Burns. We talk about Burns, and as effective as he is, sprinting down the floor is not. And Javon, that's where Javon Franklin is just better. He's a better athlete of running down the floor, and he's rebounding and he's pushing it. He's leading in fast break, and it's creating matchup problems for NC State.
Burns pivoting, and he will go to the line.
So when he pushes the ball, a guard has to match up. That leads Burns to match up on a guard, and they don't want to do that. They want to. So he's running back to the ball and it's creating these issues. But the way you combat that is give him the ball, let him score, so you can set your defense after a made basket.
Burns at times has struggled from the free throw line. You see for the season, 64%. Over his 5-year collegiate career, 62%.
And the other thing is, when you started the year, you thought he was going to play 20 minutes, and he's pushed himself to plus 30s.
Thursday night women's basketball doubleheader, Olivia Miles and number 9 Notre Dame against Pitt at 6 Eastern. Then NC State and Wake Forest right here on ACCN and the app. Yeah, the minutes soaring. Burns at 36 and counting.
Yeah.
NC State leads. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech, they have not subbed in the second half.
Yes, this is a team that bench leads the ACC in scoring, and they have 0 points from the bench, and they got another turnover here. This is how NC State wants to play. The pressure, the pace, 94 feet of defensive intensity just created another turnover there. But if you're Georgia Tech, you're okay. It's not a live ball turnover. You get to establish your defense, which has been effective in this game. They're back to their traditional zone, matchup zone, where you're trying to keep the ball out of the middle, but that's acceptable to this corner three.
Morcell connects!
On cue. Now when they score like this, they get the matchup. Tech did a really good job of pushing it even after a made.
7-0 run for the Pack, and Georgia Tech needs a bucket. They turn it over instead, and Coleman fouls Morcell.
Great defensive intensity there by NC State, just picking it up on the defensive end. For Georgia Tech, you got to settle down here and you got to get a stop.
There is still 1:49 to go. The momentum is with NC State, and Casey Morcell's at the line, where he is an 85% free throw shooter this season, and it's his first trip this afternoon.
Yeah, he's 85, but it's the first one in the last minute and 43 of the game. And it's a big free throw here because it's 1-1.
And he misses on the first, and he's frustrated.
Yeah, those are difficult when you haven't shot many, you're not in a rhythm no matter what your percentage is. And Casey Morcell missed the first one. He's upset with himself about that.
Josh Pastner will take one of his 2 remaining timeouts. We'll take it as well, and then we'll come on back to Raleigh. NC State's got a 4-point lead now on the strength of this 7-0 run. Meanwhile, you go inside this Josh Pastner huddle. Where do they go for offense? Because they've now gone 2.5 minutes between points.
I think you got to go back and put the ball in Javon Franklin's hands. And again, he doesn't have to attack, but he's creating off the bounce and forcing rotation. I think the lineup that they have out there, all those guys have had their moment. They just need to execute their offense. When the play breaks down, just set a ball screen and put DJ Burns in a ball screen. It's been effective for him. But the surprising thing from them is just their bench. I mean, this team leads the ACC, and I'm shocked. I mean, he's constantly rotated guys. We talk about him having his full complement of roster, and then he plays 5 guys.
He has not subbed in the second half of this game. But we thought Davon Smith might play a big role in this one. In his first game back after missing 1 with an ankle injury, he played 4 minutes in the first half, and that's it. And then meanwhile, Jalen Moore, talented 6'7" sophomore who scored 17 in the first meeting between these teams. He's only played 3 minutes, and then Rodney Howard, their 6'11" veteran big guy, hasn't even gone into the game at all.
No, hey, listen, it's work. This game is right here. It's a competitive game. It's a 2-possession game. They just got to get a stop here. They got to get a basket here and a stop. put the pressure back on NC State, but this is a big possession here.
You said get it into Javon Franklin's hands.
Yeah.
4 in gray. He has done everything for the Jackets in this one.
And Sturdivant's been really effective off the bounce as well. But the ball screen's coming. Took Burns out. Defensive sub there, putting Dewana in.
Coleman pulls up. Can't hit. Rebound Smith.
It's not the shot that Georgia Tech would want there. Coming out of a timeout. Big possession here. You got to get a stop. Don't want to foul to Georgia Tech.
With Burns on the bench, E.B. Dewana came in for him. Jarkel Joyner and a foul with 7 left on the shot clock as Kyle Sturdivant went reaching.
Joyner's just not the guy you want to put at the line. I mean, he's just 83% shooter, but he's just really, really comfortable and tough in these moments, and he wants the ball, and it's just not a guy you want to put on the line right now.
It's the 1-and-1 for Jarkel Joyner, the 6th-year senior, who has made 29 of his last 30 at the line.
Super senior.
Stays hot. Hey, our next All Access, the ACC Life, very special one, premieres Monday. An emotional journey with ACC student athletes from all 15 ACC institutions. They go to Montgomery and Selma, Alabama. 7 Eastern right here on ACCN and the app.
But Dewana's in right now for State to anchor that back into their defense. He's a shot blocker, gives them more defensive versatility. So DJ Burns is out of the game right now, allowing him to match up.
Terry, a rounded out rebound Ross, and Kelly fouls him. With 47 seconds to go, and NC State up by 6, and Kelly, Ross, and Smith getting separated by Ron Groover.
Now you're playing against the clock, so you got to commit some of those fouls. NC State's got to make free throws, and Georgia Tech's got to they're not built to play this way. They got to get quick shots, quick baskets, and try to set their defense to get 5 seconds or a foul.
You can almost hear what Josh Pastner will say post-game as well. If it ends up this way, that's a pretty good look for Lance Terry, and he likes that down the stretch and how close they have been, and they have led for a lot of this game as well.
It's been a microcosm of the season for Georgia Tech, just not having the ability to knock down shots and put so much pressure on the guys who are their shooters like Terry.
NC State ended the first half on a 10-0 run. They're on a 10-0 run right now inside of the final minute of regulation. And Ernest Ross hits both.
He's been so good today. More important, not just the offensive end, it's his defensive intensity and pressure that's just been outstanding. And outside of Burns, I think he's been the best player on the floor for State.
Georgia Tech down 8, they got to go. Coleman contested, no. Terry the offensive rebound. Blocked by Dewana. 30 seconds left. Coleman connects. 5-point game, 28 seconds to go, and a timeout.
So now the good thing is if you're an NC State fan, you just got to put the ball in one of your 3 guards' hands here, because Georgia Tech has to foul if they don't get a 5-second count. There's enough time on the clock. If you're Georgia Tech, you got to set up a full court pressure, try to get a 5-second count. If not, you can get a good trap. And then if you don't get the ball, you got to foul. You're playing against as much of the clock right now as you're playing against the team. You don't have a lot of time to waste.
I believe they're having a look at whether that was a 2 or the 3, as it was called, for Debo Coleman. Well, definitely a 3, that's for sure. And then Josh Pastner took the timeout. Perhaps just adding a little bit of time back on the clock. It looks like a few tenths of a second. And while we got a moment, a reminder of still what's to come in the ACC, including just minutes from now, we will get you to Little John for a top 25 showdown. Miami and Clemson coming off a loss. They still lead the league. And remember, Virginia lost earlier today as well.
Now let's not forget about both of our alma maters are playing each other today.
Yes. Has that game gone final?
No, it hasn't. Deeks are up 15 late. Yeah, 81-64 to Deeks.
Over Notre Dame.
Over Notre Dame, wow.
Big bounce back for Steve Forbes. They needed that one after the 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, you got to foul. You got to foul if you got to foul.
Coleman goes for the pick on Ross, and there is the foul.
Yeah, once you establish the trap and he get dribbles out of it, you got to foul.
All right, well, here's the deal. Ernest Ross is 5 of 5 at the free throw line in this one, and a guy who normally oozes confidence, maybe even a little more in this one. Normally a 52% free throw shooter coming in.
Yeah, but there's not much pressure on these free throws. You're up. You know, you're okay with him just making one. I mean, it's a 2-possession game. You know, it's not the end of the world if he misses both. So this isn't a pressure free throw for him. He should be easily relaxed and really hoping just to make one. Like that.
You guys just don't feel pressure like the rest of us mere mortals.
No, it's no pressure on him. He's comfortable with that. He's played tremendous game right now. He's, like I said, beside of Burns, he's been the second best player for NC State today, and just his energy and both ends of the floor. And credit to him, he's deserving of knocking both down. Just the basketball guys rewarding a player who's played his tail off today.
He had 17 in the win over Miami. He's got 16 today. Franklin had to save it on the baseline. Sturdivant rises. Too strong. Rebound Morcell, and he's fouled with 11.2 left.
NC State winners 8 of their last 9. Cemented themselves into 4th place in the ACC. Start a little slow, but there are no gimme games. I mean, this team, credit to them, they jumped out early on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has responded, played themselves a heck of a game. But this NC State team didn't play his best on the offensive end, but they competed on the defensive end.
Hats off to that man, Javon Franklin. He absolutely battled for Georgia Tech, which emptied the tank here in Raleigh.
No reason to hang their heads down. They came out and they competed today.
NC State looking to improve to 19-5 overall. We told you coming in, by that record and by ACC record, they're having their best season since the final year of Herb Sendek, 17 years ago.
Man, I played against when they just got to state, and again, 19-5 and 9-4 in conference play for this team that started 1-3. Just playing really good basketball right now on both ends of the floor.
Final seconds, roll off in Raleigh, and NC State is 9-4 in the ACC. They survived the very best from Georgia Tech today.
Just a great job by NC State, just coming out getting the win, and credit to Georgia Tech giving the effort.
A reminder still to come, Miami-Clemson, a top 25 showdown with Wes Durham and Dan Bonner. For Randolph Childress, our producer Josh Monk, director Justin Stahl, I'm Mike Monaco saying so long from PNC, and NC State win.
Speaking of win streaks, NC State gets their 4th win in a row. As we say hello from the studio, alongside 3 former national champs, Luke Hancock, Carlos Boozer, Joel Berry. I'm Kelsey Riggs. Great to be with you. And NC State, we talk a lot about their guards and what Terquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner can do. But, Luke, we need to keep talking about what DJ Burns and Ernest Ross are doing for this team as well.
Absolutely. I think this is a phenomenal win for NC State because those 2 top dogs, those guys in the backcourt, didn't play great. When you can have your studs not play well and still find a way to win in a really tough game like that, that means a lot. Helps you down the stretch.
Yeah, great job. I mean, the big fella's working, looking like a young Zach Randolph in there, getting buckets and passing the ball. Something to build on for NC State.
For Terquavion Smith, for him not to have a great game, he had 10 assists. That just shows the maturity of his game throughout the years and being able to distribute.
Yeah.
That's a great point there. Good job by NC State to come out and get that win. And great fight from Georgia Tech. They're not able to get the job done, though. Let's get to another good game in the ACC. And didn't expect this one to be as close as it was. Okay, Georgia Tech, we see you. DJ Burns, we've been seeing you. He's been doing his thing. 6 minutes to go in the first half. NC State down 4.
Ooh.
Ernest Ross, the two-handed jam. NC State down by just 2. Then, 2-point game still. How about Terquavion Smith came into the day as the ACC's leading scorer, but dishing it off in this one, Joel.
Yeah, he played amazing today. This just shows the maturity of his game. If he can't score the ball, he has other guys that he can get the ball to.
Javon Franklin for Georgia Tech with the big slam there. Then Burns forces the turnover. Smith at the other end. He says, I can do a little bit of everything, some trash talking to go along with it. The next possession, Franklin answers with the reverse layup. He had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks. Georgia Tech on top, but DJ Burns goes to work, Booze.
Yeah, great footwork, great poise. He's playing as good as anybody in the country, looking like a young Zach Randolph.
Next possession, more from Sturdivant, Luke.
You know how tough that finish is. Some guys make the really tough plays look easy. That was really impressive. Georgia Tech just in control down the stretch in this game, but too much big DJ Burns can't stop that left hand.
Game high 24 points, so NC State is within 1, then 2 minutes to play. On top now,
Ice
Casey Morsell
in his veins.
sinks the 3. NC State wins it 72-64. Casey Morsell had 17 points and 5 rebounds. But how about Terquavion Smith? We mentioned that he was the scoring machine that he is. It was actually his first single-digit scoring effort of the season, so he has just been balling. But he found other ways to impact the game. 10 assists, a new career high. And now we welcome in the man of the hour, Terquavion Smith, fresh off of the win. So congratulations first and foremost on that. And Terquavion, heading into today, ACC's leading scorer. I know the shots weren't falling for you today, but you were able to impact the game in other ways. That career best in assist with the 10 assists. How important is that for you to make sure that you're doing whatever you can to help this team?
That means a lot to me. It helps me with my teammates also to show them that I'm a willing passer and that I trust in them and believe in them. Also, I had a lot of scouts question my playmaking ability. So having the day I did today, that just means a lot to me.
Hey, I just want to say you're having an incredible season, man. Been a fan, doing a great job of leading your team. The question I have for you is, what great luxury you have, a guy like DJ Burns, when things aren't going your way, or the one game you got in foul trouble last week, a couple weeks ago, you can drop it to big fella. How much do you love having a guy like that can take on the responsibility of setting things up for the rest of the guys?
I love playing with DJ. He opens the game up for everyone else on the floor around him. He can pass the ball, he can score it. He can do everything on the offensive end, and he plays defense as well. Just having that inside presence, that just opens the floor up for us. If they double him, we have shooters. We have everything we need around him just to make us better.
Terquavion, where did you go? Where did you go to eat? We were waiting here for you, man, and we were wondering where do you go to eat after a game like this?
I ain't really went nowhere yet, but I don't know. I had a burrito that they gave us after the game. That's it.
Got a little snack in at least. That's good. Listen, you guys are playing some really good basketball right now. You won 4 in a row, 8 out of the last 9. What's been different with this team down the stretch?
We're just together. We love each other. We can take corrective criticism from each other. That's really what it is. We just want to win. Everybody want to win, so we just do whatever it takes all together. We don't have nobody who doesn't know their role per se. So that's just what it is. We all love each other. I think that goes a long way.
I love it. Terquavion, you talked about scouts a little bit, so we're going to get into dissecting some plays here, and I can't wait. I got a couple draw-ups for you. Again, I'm going to give you one, then you're going to follow up right here. On this first play, as a scorer, when you see Big DJ Burns set this screen way outside and Appleby goes under this screen, I want to know about your mindset. There is so much space between you and Matt Marsh. This has to be a pull-up jumper or you're driving right to the basket. This is time to go get one, right?
Yeah, of course, that's time to go get one. DJ set a good screen for me, and I seen the center was too far back, and I know I can make that shot with ease, so I just pulled up.
Drop covers, that means you're pulling that thing, especially going under screens. Can't do that against Terquavion. I love it. Here we go. This is the horn set. In this one, I love the spacing and the timing of the play. This is a great draw by Kevin Keats. They hit the horn set. Jarkel gets through there. Then it's a down screen into a ball screen and then a rescreen. And so what I love here is your patience, kind of dissecting what you see out here. Are you waiting on the right matchup? And then again, time to attack the basket. So when you come off this last screen, Carr's on your hip right here, a ton of space between you and Marsh again, getting down the lane right here and getting downhill to attack the basket. I want you to know, this shot you hit, this floater, you make it look easy, but that runner is very tough. Walk me through this play.
Just being patient, honestly. Coach always preached to be patient. Use your screen as well. So I knew they were going to switch the screen with the four, so I kind of come off and I wait for Carr to get on me. Since he's a bigger guy, you know, kind of slower on his feet. And I come off and I see it in the drop coverage again. So I know it's either a pull-up or I can get all the way down the lane.
Yeah, they hit you with 3 screens. I know the re-screen right there, but they could have gone 4 or 5 because I know you're so good in that pick and roll action. The jumper's there, but I love your mentality. Again, let's get downhill. Let's try and either create some contact or get all the way to the rim. You know, DJ's going to be great on the roll right there. Let's do it one more time. What I want to show you here, number 1, that's a very set, very solid Miami defense. You see 74-73. We're in overtime. This is Bensley Joseph ready to lock you up. But that move right there, that drop dribble, behind your back to your right hand, moving to your left hand, and a bucket. When it's go time right here, shot clock's winding down. Walk me through this.
In my head, as soon as he passed it to me, I knew it was 10 seconds on the clock, so I had to get straight to it. He kind of jumped on the drop, so I knew I could just step back and shoot the mid-range.
Big-time players make big-time shots. I hope you saw the Jamal Crawford comparison right there. I think you got that move from him because that was as smooth as it gets, man. Great stuff.
Yeah. I've heard that comparison a lot, actually.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah. Good comp there. Terquavion, congratulations on the success so far. Breakdown video and plays with Luke anytime. That was good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate the time.
Good luck, T.